In this lesson, we are going to introduce MySQL.
All right.
So, to start off with...
what is MySQL?
Altogether, MySQL represents an open-source database management system.
Mm-hmm.
This means that, basically, MySQL is used when you need to use a database for something. A website, maybe your own application, but that's what it generally is a database. Overall, it provides a suite of tools that will allow you to manage the database, as well as use it as a server so that other things can connect to it, maybe a PHP page or some other application.
I see.
Now, more specifically, MySQL is a relational database. This means that data is organized into tables, where you have rows and columns that can be used to cross-reference values.
Okay.
And in more complex scenarios, you can actually cross-reference items between multiple tables.
Okay, I got what you're saying.
That's another purpose of a relational database, is that you can gather data together in ways that differ from the way it's actually stored in the tables. It's almost like you can create new tables on the fly out of existing data.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. That's cool.
So, now we need to talk about what exactly is SQL. SQL stands for Structured Query Language.
Okay.
It is the language that you'll use to work with data within a MySQL database. It's used for things like retrieving data back out, putting data in, or otherwise working with data that exists in a database.
Okay. Now, I noticed you called it MySQL. Is it?
Well, I go back and forth. The official title of MySQL is just that, MySQL. Another way it's often said is MySQL.
Okay, I was just making sure it wasn't like two different applications you're talking about.
Probably deriving from other database servers, which are often referred to as SQL.
I got you. Okay.
So, now let's talk about what you need to do if you want to begin using MySQL. Similar to how PHP works, there's similar considerations.
Okay.
Meaning and these considerations are largely dependent on your web hosting situation. For example, if you have an external web host, you need to make sure that MySQL is part of your web hosting package.
Okay.
If it's not, you'll need to find some other package.
Okay.
If you purchased our Web Design 1, we provide a MySQL database for you to use. So you're all set in that case.
Okay, that's cool.
If you're running your own web server, and you don't currently have MySQL, you'll need to install it.
Okay.
So let's take a look at what you would need to do to get up and running.
Alrighty.
The first thing you need to do is to go to the MySQL site. From here, we have a downloads link on the far right.
Okay.
Under downloads, we're presented with various different versions of the MySQL software.
Alrighty.
The first section is the MySQL Community Edition. This is the one that is free and distributed under the GNU public license. This one would work perfect for our situation where we just want to get a website up and running. There are other versions and other licensing, as MySQL is also available as an enterprise version.
I see.
More certification for the various systems contained within. In our case, though, like I said, we just want to get a database up and running, so the Community Edition is perfect for us.
Okay.
That, and it's free to use, which is also a plus.
That's always plus.
So under the Community Edition, you see we have different versions. The latest stable would be MySQL version 5. You can see that it's listed as generally available, and it's the current recommended release.
I see.
So if you were to install this for the first time, that's the version I would go with.
Okay.
So if we look under MySQL 5.0, you see we have many different releases.
Oh, wow.
MySQL has been ported to many different systems, which is very nice because pretty much anything you're running, Windows, Linux, even other OSs like the various BSD distributions are all supported.
I see.
So at this point,
pretty much covered all grounds with this then.
Right. So at this point, it's pretty much just a matter of picking a distribution that works well for your OS and getting it installed.
Okay.
So with that, that's pretty much all we need to cover in the overview lesson. All we did is take a look at exactly what MySQL is and discuss what it was as a database management system. And we talked about what SQL was, the structured query language that you'll be using to access data within a database.
Okay.
So with that, that's going to wrap up this lesson.
All right.